Welcome to In the Moment number 3. Today we are joined by Augusta, and she is actually a lovely waitress nearby at Sequoia Diner. And she was just telling me how she had acute low back pain. She was doing a deadlift and something went funky. And so now we're joined here by her today. And we're gonna have you go ahead and stand up. So I've already done a pre-assessment with Augusta, and some things that we found is there's some weird things going on with her squat. We also detected that there's some decreased muscle strength that are gonna highlight some areas of the spine that we're gonna wanna lead to into adjusting. So go ahead and come with me, and go ahead and stand right over there. And so we're gonna do overhead squat to assess function, so you'll face away from us. Put your hands over your head. There you go. And then go ahead and do your squat. Boom. And do one more. And so what I saw, and you can drop your hands and just stand like that. What I'm seeing is basically a hyperextension of the low spine, so non-integration throughout the entire posterior chain. And it really was leading me to an L1 subluxation. Also, if you watched, there was a little bit of pelvic sway to the right when she was squatting. And so those are some things that I'm definitely gonna wanna check out, but I also want you to see what I saw when I did some muscle testing. And so you can go ahead and actually come with me. We're gonna go right here. I'm gonna give you a little face fuzzy here. Lay on your back for me, Augusta. So chiropractors in functional assessments, so usually you should have some type of initial exam when starting care. And what we're trying to figure out, again, is what is the big picture? What's going on at the spinal levels, and how does that correspond to your entire health? And one of the things that we do here at the Source is we do muscle testing, because there are certain muscle tests that correlate with certain vertebra. And so a couple of the ones that we did that we found weaknesses with her was the psoas, so I'll show you that real quick. So this is a hip flexor test, psoas test, and so we have the foot rotated out here. And already, just based on how she's moving, I'm gonna tell that there's a little bit of weakness, but I'll go ahead and support the front of the ilium and then have you push up this way, push up. And there was just a little bit of a shake on that. And so when you get a little bit of shake, it means that you're not getting the full firing of the nerve down into the system. And I found that on both sides. And then I did another test, which is the TFL test, so tensor fascia lata, and it's here. And this is for L5-S1, so push up and out this way, push up and out. And that one was weaker on this side than it was on this side, push up and out, boom. So what I'm looking for is the system should engage right away. System engages right away, that's a 5 out of 5 on the muscle test score. If there's a little bit of a shake or a delay, then it's a 4 out of 5. And so what I got was a 4 out of 5 on the TFL and a 4 out of 5 on both hip flexors. So that's already pointing me in the direction of L5-S1 and L1. And then again, when you saw the squat, when you're seeing that hyperextension, you're also gonna see that there's a little bit of aberrant motion at the L1. So go ahead and roll over to your stomach. So now we can confirm with some other tests and palpation. Oh yeah, this is something interesting. Come over here, Kyle. When I was doing my initial analysis, I also saw this. And what you'll see is basically an inverted calcaneus. And upon palpation, I was just actually checking it out. I was like, hey, did you ever break this ankle or something? Because it's funky. It doesn't want to move into external rotation or into supination. And so you said what, Augusta?
I broke it and walked on it for a week.
She broke it and walked on it in a week, and you were how old?
10.
When she was 10 years old. So this is a 10-year-old, or when she was 10, a little bit older now, right? So we're going on 20 years injury of this rotation. And I was, just look at that. Could you imagine causing low back distress or hip distress or knee distress from continually walking on an ankle that's inverted like that? And what's really cool about chiropractic is that we can start to make corrections on that. And so what I'll do is I'm gonna make an adjustment, and we're gonna check it out upon when we finish. So now that she's prone and I'm looking at the system, I do see a slightly elevated ilium on the left side, which can mean potential posterior sacrum or posterior rotated ilium. So let's go ahead and check the legs when we bring them up. So when I bring them up here, what I'm looking for is one, yes, you can look at leg length to change, but you can also get a glimpse into sacrum and ilium motion. And so if I'm having a harder time bringing one of the heels to the glute region, that can mean that I have a fixated sacrum. So especially when I start to feel this internal resistance, and that's what I'm feeling on the left side here. And then I can go ahead and double check with some palpation. So she has a real compressed L1. So L1's the first lumbar vertebra, and so what we're feeling is it's real compressed in, and since she gets that hyperextension, what I would love to do is not adjust her with a lot of extension, but actually bring the spine to neutral, and I'll show you what that looks like when we do the adjustment. So for my first adjustment, we're actually gonna adjust sacrum. I wanna adjust this left sacrum, but I'm gonna do it involved side down. So she's gonna lay with this side down. So go this side up, face me over here. I'm gonna bring this pillow right here. So this is for the lower sacrum. So I want to keep the spine close to neutral since she already wants to go into hyperextension. So I'm going to scoot the pelvis closer to me, and I'm going to drive down this way at the sacrum. Good. Go the other way. Now this is our first adjustment here at the source, by the way, and she agreed to do it on camera. So here we go. And I don't adjust like, or a lot of people in this office don't adjust like the majority of chiropractors. So interesting to see feedback after this adjustment. So L1, L2, there's a compression. So what I'm looking for is to actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna contact L2 and distract it away from the L1. So we're coming down inferior with the rounding of the sacrum, and that rounding of the sacrum is gonna avoid that hyperextension of the lower spine. So I'm bringing the spine to neutral, rolling the system as a group, gonna pull that L2 off the L1. Boom, just like that. Nice, huh? Go to your stomach for me. So we'll double check here. So we're looking for basically, again, an integration through the system as we pull on the heels. Is there any catch? There's a little bit of catch at T12. So this is long lever biotensegrity, meaning that you can read an entire system through the heels if you have high sensitivity both in your hands and you're actually watching what is happening through the rest of the spine. And what I was feeling is that we cleared that L1, L2 here, but you're starting to see that there was not a continual integrity wave going throughout the rest of the system. So now we're gonna clear it a little bit higher, T10 actually, right there. There we go. And when I adjusted that T10, I felt actually the cord release at the conus medullaris. So now to be able to feel that high level of sensitivity and awareness in your hands. There we go. So now we have a lot more symmetrical tone. And actually, believe it or not, this heel is already starting to unwind a little bit. So to me, that means that she actually had a lot more cord tension than potentially even adhesion, fixation in the actual calcaneus from the old break. So actually, if you want to come look at this already, it's already looking better. So get another glimpse at this. When we first started, the heel was looking a lot more like that. Now it's already just naturally holding place in a better position. And so to me, that means that there was cord twisting going on. So your heels can be an indicator if there's any torsion or tension in the cord. And when I say torsion or tension in the cord, again, main primary attachment sites are going to be down here, L5, S1, and coccyx, and then again, C1, C2, and occiput. And if you have any cord torsion, you can a lot of times see that in the heels, and that's why just by adjusting sacrum, I'm already starting to see this calcaneus work better. Isn't that crazy? All right, so let's go ahead and get you to roll to your back. Now, if we adjusted successfully, and the reason that she was experiencing weakness in the hip flexor and the TFL was because of the dysfunction happening in the spine, then those muscles should already be performing better. So I could bring this leg like this, push up and out, boom. Full strength, it locks right in place, push up and out, nice. Now we'll bring the leg out like this. This is for the hip flexor. Again, when I first did this hip was rocking off the table. Hip's not rocking off the table, that means she has better core stabilization. Keep the leg straight, push up here, boom. Full 5 out of 5. We can do this one too. Go ahead and push straight up, boom, 5. So again, already one adjustment, all muscles are turned back on, 5 out of 5 muscle strength, full coordination. And then when I did my exam, I was also feeling C5, big time posterior. And so there's a few ways to address this. Based on her neck, and this is her first adjustment, I'm gonna address it supine. I would usually do this probably seated. So we're gonna come here, and now this adjustment, I'm making a contact right at the spinous process and this finger right here, this digit right here, and then coming up. So we're going mainly posterior to anterior, which is back to forward, so right there. Beautiful adjustment. Gosh, that was sweet. I like when it works out that way. All righty, now the next thing I wanna do is I wanna check the feet again. And I want to see if there's anything else we can do for that calcaneus, because it still drifted this. I remember. So it's calcaneus, and there was some talus dysfunction. So I want you to see this, Kyle. So this is when I bring her foot up in dorsiflexion on the left, and that's dorsiflexion on the right. And the biggest thing that's inhibiting the dorsiflexion right now is the talus is not tucking underneath the tibia. So can you do that by yourself? Look at when she does it on her own. You're talking about a good maybe 15 to 20 degree difference in range of motion between the left and right. So let's adjust this talus. All right. So again, I don't know when the last time this thing has moved. Has this ever been adjusted? No. So it's never been adjusted, and this was injured 21 years ago. Sorry to give away your age. When she was 10 years old. All right, so we're gonna make a contact, and basically right now I'm gripping. Again, you can change fingers that grab, but for me and my size of my hands and her anatomy, this is gonna be best. So I'm focusing my energy and force right through there, get initial distraction. There it was. Whew. Good. You could tell that thing hadn't moved in a long time. So it got a pretty good release, and also I'm also noticing that the cuneiform is stuck right here. There we go. All right, let's see how we're doing. Look at that. Feel different? Boom. Can you do it on yourself? Look at that. That's big time. That's like 20 to 30 degree improvement on that right side. We'll recheck the neck here. Ooh. Cool. Let's get you to do a little bit of walk around. So just walk back and forth, and we're gonna check your squat one more time. Cool. So you'll walk away and then walk towards us one side. This walk is just helping integrate what we just did. And then go ahead and face away from us and put your hands over your head and go ahead and get a squat in. Whoa, a little reintegration there. Do one more. There it is. Okay, cool. Now you can face the camera. Tell them how that was.
Awesome.
So you notice on that first squat, her system hadn't adapted just yet. So usually we don't make people retest their squat right away, give them 10 to 15 minutes to integrate the new information. But then on the second squat, you had reintegration of the entire posterior chain, no longer seeing that dysfunction at the L1 and sacrum. And I was actually impressed because, again, this was our first adjustment with Augusta, and I wasn't expecting to see that big of change in the actual ankle dorsiflexion, but that's pretty huge. I imagine that's gonna be huge when you go and move around the world now.
And now I can work out.
Cool, there it is. That's episode 3. And again, if you like this material, this is In the Moment with Dr. Brett Jones. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.